Okay, so Jennifer and Michal, um, you on the call that we were on, what was it, about a month ago, you started talking about, Michal, your experience of being in the office. And Jennifer, you brought up in such a way that gave me the chills. You said, well, what's it like to be back in the office? And it was such a great discussion. So if you wouldn't mind starting it here for all of us, that would be wonderful.
Okay. Hi, Michal, again. Also, we haven't seen each other since that conversation. So as Karen was saying, and Lynn presented also, that we were on a discussion that Lynn had organized, and Michal described going back to his office to see clients. And I realized that for me, I was so curious what that's like. It was like hearing that someone had gone to a birthday party that I wasn't invited to. And I wanted to know if there were clowns or what kind of cake they were having. And I was so excited about what it might be like. And because here in San Francisco, for me, that's not a possibility. It doesn't feel safe. And so I asked Michal, and I'll let you answer.
I think there was a clown. It was me at that party. And I must be crazy that I decided to be here and talk now. But what I really realized was something what I wasn't aware before, because I was never a fan of online therapy. So when it started, I had to adjust to it, and I didn't like it. Then I realized that it's not so bad, that it helps me to continue with my work with my clients, and I was quite glad that I could work online. And then when the situation in Czech Republic changed, and I could start to work with my clients in my office again, uh, I realized the big difference of the contact online and the contact face to face in the room. And the difference was the physical presence of the two of us, or uh, in one room. Uh, First, I thought that it's only about uh, having more information about the client, because as uh, as we were discussing before, the contact functions are not so limited when we are together in the room. But then I realized that it's something special about physical presence in the room, and that I feel more energy, that I am more excited from my work, and at the end of the day, I was less tired. So I realized there's something uh, really special in the meeting with the other person in the room. Uh, I also realized that when I was working online, there was some kind of jumping in the work and jumping out of the work. And when I work face to face, I think there are mm, some clearer boundaries of the whole contact episode, that there's full pre-contact when people come, and we say hello to each other, and we can even shake hands, or there is we have small chat before we start, and then there's the contact during the work, and also the ending and the post contact is more full as I see it and as I feel it. Uh, so uh, my experience is that online work is possible and it can be useful, especially when there is no other option. And in the same time, I think online psychotherapy is very limited. Uh, and I think it's very important to be aware of the limitations and uh, uh, also be aware of the possibilities. And I think we can really work with the limitations and with the possibilities creatively. So I think we should use the limitations as a new tool in psychotherapy, because it's in Gestalt therapy we use experiments. So I think we should more experiment with the limitations of sound and of what we see, because we don't see the whole body of our clients. So we can, and I think we should really create some new experiments connected to the limitations of online psychotherapy. Uh, and when we move from online to face-to-face work, I think we should, this is something what should be, uh, mm, what should be figural in the work, because uh, my experience with my clients was that we were discussing the difference, and we were really working on it, because it is something what is different, what is important, and what we have to acknowledge and explore, and also appreciate that we have a chance to meet face to face. I don't know. Maybe I forgot something what I wanted to say, but I think, uh, and I would like to hear from Jennifer, what is your experience of online work, and whether something what I said uh, was useful for you.
Yeah, thank you. And what you mentioned about your energy level and your excitement in seeing people in person again, I realized that's what it, when I asked you that original question of what is it like, that's what I am missing. And as other people today have mentioned, it's different if you're with a person and you're both masked. And for me, I should say that I work with movement as a primary form of communication. So, and that means not just between us, but how we orient to the world around us. And I had been working online for about 6 years before COVID, but not exclusively. And it was a jarring shift for me to be suddenly not, I am not in my office. I am at home, and I have not been in my office since March. And what I got curious about, having come from some background in working online, is, can I feel, is it possible for us to feel this movement, this essential contact that's happening between us all the time? Is it possible to feel that here with you? And that, for these last months, has been my investigation. And I just taught a webinar on this on Friday. And I'm experimenting, and I'm experimenting partly because that's my reality, and partly because I'm recognizing, just as other people have said today, that it's different. Being this form of contact that we're doing now is different. And yet this premise of self-emerging at the contact boundary, that I am selfing with you in this situation, can also be true, but it's happening in a different way. And that's been quite exciting to me. I went from feeling really limited to feeling really curious and excited. And Lynn Stadler and I have been curious and excited together. And so I've been experimenting with different ways of using what, Michal, what you mentioned about specifically sound and visual. And Karen, I'm aware you said that Violet's sight is limited and has been for some time. And I also have clients whose vision or hearing is limited. And yet, partly through learning, kind of a steep learning curve of learning the technology, but also what I would describe as bumbling around with my clients, we have been discovering ways of finding each other that are meaningful. And I would say I get a lot from this when we can find each other. One of the big ways that I've found useful in terms of really locating or feeling each other, I would say, yes, there's the connection, it's the internet connection, but slowing down. And people talked about transitions, the recognition that we're like right now, we're all in a different places. So there's a different here for each of us. We're in different time zones, so there's a different now. And for each of us, the idea of next is different. Maybe we share an uncertainty, but we don't know what's next. And so that staying in that vulnerable state of not knowing how to meet each other here, slowing down, sometimes even taking time in silence. And Karen, you mentioned doing some experiments. I'm happy to do that if folks are interested today.
Yeah.
I
think it would be great. I'm aware of the time. Ideally, this is how it would work. You would maybe, Michal, you could comment on what Jennifer was just talking about. We could have the experiment from you, Jennifer, and then we'd have time to process it in breakout rooms, just to give people a chance to share about it in a smaller group, and then we'll get back together in a larger group in 35 minutes. See how that goes. Because you could do like maybe an abbreviated version,
Yeah.
Okay, that would be awesome.
If I can just have a comment, I really liked when you said, Jennifer, discover the word discovering, because this is exactly what we are doing. We are discovering a new field. It's something what we are not really used to, because I think we all are used to call our friends using online technologies and using mobile phones. This is something what we are used to, but we are not used to really work therapeutically and using full potential of online technologies. And I think we are discovering it now. And I am really happy that we are going to do the experiment now, because this is exactly what we can do to discover the possibilities, and I'm looking forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Michal, for your perspective also. So appreciative.